All right, welcome back to Two Stupid Guys Trade Stocks. I'm Vinny.
I'm Dylan. Usually we do a swing video every week. We are not going to do one this week because I think the market is going to crash sooner than later. I'm calling it, which I know is never a good idea. So we're going to go into why I'm thinking that because of what happened this week. So to you, Vinny.
All right. So if you guys enjoy this kind of entertaining stock market content, please consider giving us a like and subscribe below. With that, we'll get to it.
Two Stupid Guys Trade Stocks.
I like this, Dylan. It's nice and ominous, you know?
Yeah, I like the Matrix part of it with the little skull. Yeah.
Neo's going to get you.
He is amazing. They're doing a remake.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
Look at here.
So what this graph is, the black is the S&P 500, right? With the y-axis on the right being the actual level of the S&P 500. So we just hit like 440, all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. So the green, more importantly, is the stocks above the 50-day moving average, okay? Generally, you would think if the SPY is getting higher and higher and higher, logically, there should be more and more stocks above its 50-day moving average. Now, that's a relatively short-term indicator, but it's still important. This is by index indicators. They've got some cool stuff. So as you can see, we are barely above 50% of stocks above the 50-day moving average. Barely. Not good.
Interesting.
No bueno. Doesn't really make sense, to be honest. So I did not like that, and I really did not like what happened this week. So I'm going to go over some analysis on the Qs and the SPY here.
So what this is showing is that there's really concentration of the winners, right? Like the stocks that are up so much that they move the whole market up.
Yes. Apple. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. NVIDIA.
It's like Apple and like 5 stocks that are so high up, and the majority of stocks are also not that high up or even down.
Interesting. All right, go to the Qs, your friend.
So everyone knows. I'm just gonna go over this really quick. This pink line is VPOC. I'll go over what that means, but more importantly, solid line here: 200 moving average, 150. 20. You don't really have to pay attention to that. It's more short term. But that's just wanting you to know. And then these are MACD. But I am a volume guy. Okay. So this week we had a decent correction. We went from 365 to 352. That's not too bad. We did it on above average volume. Now the Qs have less volume than the SPY, so the parameters are a little bit different, but average volume is about 45 million. Okay. So usually this bottom on high volume is usually a very good sign. This is called a hammer. What I do not like is that we came up super fast. This is uncharacteristic because usually when stocks drop like this, boom, they take all of this time to get all the way back. It's very common, right? Boom, all the way back. So usually you do not have a V recovery unless you're COVID. That happened a little bit for some stocks. But it came up on really, really low volume, actually below average volume. And I'm going to show you some things that I was looking at, and it's kind of terrifying to me. So let's zoom out. This is more of a history deal. So right here, stocks are making highs, all-time highs before this, yada, 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 yada. As you start losing volume, you end up getting these giant corrections, okay? No bueno, right? Same thing happens when you go up in a more sideways pattern. You can get away with lower volume. This is all around VPOC. I'll explain that. But once again, as you come up on high volume, making higher highs and all-time highs on low volume, you end up getting these big corrections. So you'll notice that now the volume for average is about, what is this? 43 million, okay? When we bounce off these averages, we have way higher than above volume, right? So this is 78 million. This is more than double almost, okay? Or a little bit less than double. All the way up to here, what candle is this? 57 million. As we start shooting up, We have high volume. This is a convincing move. This makes me feel, okay, we're going to keep going. And then the volume start to dies, right? Then we consolidate. And what do you think happens? We go through another correction. So this is absolutely terrifying because you would think when a stock moves up with high conviction, when it really means that it's going to go higher, it has volume because the whole market's behind it. I won't get into the VIX here, but that's also another thing. Another thing I want to show you, this VPOC line. Are you familiar with VPOC, Vinny?
I'm not familiar with VPOC.
Okay. So this is more of a day trade thing, and I'm using it in the long term. Okay. But basically, this is from AMS Trading Group. They have a good definition. So the significance of VPOC is that this is the price that saw the most acceptance by both buyers and sellers. So basically that market has priced in all known variables and finds this place to be the most equal in battle of war between buyers and sellers. Okay. So if I zoom in, this is over like 2 months. We get the most equal battle being around 335. That's terrifying because I'm very zoomed in right now. Right? But so think of this as volume at price. There's more volume at this price. There's less volume as we go up, which makes sense because we haven't been here long enough. Yeah. Right? Except the part where I continue to zoom out and VPOC stays almost the same at exactly 310. It just doesn't move, meaning we are very, very extended. So I'm going to go to the SPY, and this is also what made me feel terrible. So I'm going to here do the same thing again. SPY zoomed out. It's about 414. We're at what, 440?
Yeah.
So this is a little bit closer, okay? Zoom in, jumps down to 390 for a bit, jumps back to 420, 390 for a bit, 420, 390, 420, yada, 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 okay? But you'll notice we made this exact same pattern on the SPY on low volume, below average volume. Do you think that this is going to be the same as the Qs, Vinny?
Oh, yeah. I don't think this is going to be very sustainable.
It's the exact same thing. As soon as we start making higher highs, we have this big conviction area of, nah, hell no. We're not going down. We're going up with force. Look at this volume here. This is what? 101 million. Okay? This is a high. This is an all-time high bar. Still here. What is this? 101. That's 91 million. We're still way above average volume. And then as it slowly starts to irk its way higher, we lose volume, and then we go into, let me show you this, this is kind of more of like a consolidation where we just chop around, right? So that makes sense because in VPOC, there's more volume when you're in a consolidation period because it goes up, down, up, down, up, down, all that stuff. So we then bust out of this. Not on high volume, which is terrifying. We do get some high volume here, but it's not on an all-time high. It's actually on a rejection of a low. And then we get this mess, which this was a weird day. And then we're coming back on low volume. So to me, in my opinion, and I'm gonna be wrong probably because every time someone calls this, they're wrong. And this is probably not good for me to say, but this seems like what I would call a bull trap. That is when the market moves up on lower, what's that word I said? Or conviction.
Okay.
To trap bag holders, and then it goes down for a much larger correction. I'm not going to be doing swing videos for a little bit. I'm not saying I'm selling my stocks. Not at all what I'm saying, because if I could call this right, I would be a billionaire, right? So I'm probably going to be wrong. But what I do think is going to happen is that we may continue setting a little bit higher highs, maybe hit the 450 region. And then I think we're going to either consolidate for a very long time, let all these moving averages catch up to the price, because right now we're way above them. And I think, it could absolutely, I think it's going to go down, but a consolidation is more acceptable, right? So it'll be really interesting to see what happens Monday, because let's say, you know what a hammer is?
Yeah.
Like a high volume hammer, meaning, here, go to the chart one more time. Let me just show a photo of this. So this is a hammer. Oh, man.
A
hammer means that it opened here. Buyers and sellers fought a battle, ended up still closing high, meaning sellers lost the battle. You can go back. You're good. So if we have like a high volume hammer, then I'm wrong. This is going to keep going, and I'll do another swing video next week. I'm not getting out of my positions. I'm not leaving anything. I just don't want to enter any new calls. Buying calls right now seems like a really bad idea.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's interesting. It's a question of delevering, I guess, I suppose, is one option, and then or as opposed to buying protective puts. I know we did a video on that, or even I was thinking like a put spread would be another thought process on how to play this. Definitely interesting. I mean, seeing the swing trader side of you and like kind of what you're looking at on that graph, like, I mean, I'm relatively convinced by it, but I don't know.
You know what made it worse for me when I was doing that is, did you notice on the SPY the VPOC line that was switching back and forth? It was intersecting with the 200 SMA to the exact number. So I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like how the moving averages, they're going up and up, but they're losing their slope.
Yeah,
especially because volume changes with that, and I don't know. I might buy another like SPY put. I'm not going to sell any of my positions. That's never a good idea because I could be wrong for a full year, right? I'm not calling that's going to happen tomorrow. I'm saying something's going to happen on Monday. Could just be a consolidation, and then we could keep going up for another year. But either way, I don't want to buy a bunch of calls or stocks, especially if it's just going to keep moving sideways. Yeah, I think it's unlikely it's going to go up. Is more what I'm saying.
When you're talking about calls too, you're getting that theta decay if your stock doesn't move fast enough. So it needs to move up and fast.
Yeah, and I don't think maybe in the next week we may even hit 450 because it's that would go into the thesis of the bull trap and then tank. But either way, I'm just going to sit on the sideline for now, ride my positions out that I have, and all my calls that are negative for the hit break even, I'm just going to get out. So,
gotcha. So you're in stage 3.
Stage 3 bargaining. For some of them, my Nordstrom call is not doing well.
Oh, geez. I gotta love it. All right, guys. Well, what do you think? Let us know what you think down below. If you would make any moves in terms of protecting your position now, or betting on like a little short-term, kind of decrease there in the market. So. See.
Yeah, and I don't want to be too doom and gloom. Everyone do your own stuff. I'm not, if I'm right, obviously awesome. I don't think I'm going to be right because everyone calls this every week, I feel like. So,
Fun fact, Harry Dent is actually Dylan's father.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Have a good one.